The alarms began in the middle of the night, shaking the human station like a living beast. No one was ready for it. Nobody expected the sky to break open with fire. The message from command repeated again and again through the speakers, a cold voice that carried fear even though it tried to sound calm. Unknown hostile force detected. Evacuate immediately. Jonas Reed, a simple mechanic, stood in the middle of the hallway with his toolkit still in his hand. Only moments ago he had been repairing a power line. Now soldiers were running, lights were flashing red, and outside the windows he could see strange shadows moving across the sky. He felt a chill run down his spine. This was not a drill. He moved with the crowd, but he could not stop looking at the sky. Bright blue lines cut through the darkness. They were not human weapons. They were not any species he knew. This was something new, something that had arrived without warning. Some believed humans had explored enough space to know all dangers. Tonight proved them wrong. The ground shook again. Jonas grabbed the wall to steady himself. He saw a group of soldiers pushing civilians toward escape pods. Their faces were pale. Even trained men looked lost. Whatever was attacking them was far stronger than anything they had faced before. Jonas heard someone calling his name. It was Myra, a medical officer he knew from supply runs. She looked out of breath as she ran toward him. "Jonas, come on, we need to get off the station now," she shouted. He nodded and followed her, but his mind stayed on the strange blue light. What kind of enemy could strike this fast without a single warning? And why this station? There were many others closer to military zones. This station was not important enough to start a war, unless the enemy wanted something else. As they reached the escape bay, another explosion rocked the station. Metal beams fell from the ceiling, sparks flying everywhere. Jonas shielded Myra with his arm as they rushed into a pod. People were shouting, pushing, crying. Fear filled the small space like smoke. The door closed, the pod launched, and then everything outside became fire and darkness. The escape pod dropped through the atmosphere of the nearest planet. Warnings flashed across the control panel. Jonas gripped the seat tightly. Mara said nothing. She kept her eyes on the window, watching pieces of the station burn as they fell beside them like dying stars. When the pod finally hit the ground, it shook violently. Jonas unbuckled and kicked the door open. A wave of hot air rushed inside. He stumbled out, blinking against the strange, bright light. They had landed in a forest unlike anything he had seen. Trees glowed softly in shades of green and blue. The ground shimmered with tiny particles. The air felt heavy, like the world itself was watching him. Mara stepped out beside him. She scanned the surroundings with a small device and her eyes widened. This is a Class-9 Deathworld," she whispered. Jonas felt his stomach drop. Class-9 meant the planet was extremely dangerous. Every creature, every plant, even the weather could kill a person in seconds. Worlds like these were avoided at all cost. Survival rate was near zero. "This wasn't random," Jonas said quietly. "Someone wants us dead." Before Mara could answer, a loud roar echoed from deep within the forest. The sound was so powerful it shook the leaves from the trees. Jonas felt the hairs on his arms rise. Something big was out there, something hunting. They grabbed supplies from the pod and moved quickly. They needed shelter, water, and a safe place to think. But on a Class-9 Deathworld, there was no real safety. Every step felt like walking into a trap. As they moved through the glowing forest, Jonas noticed movement. Small creatures watched them from behind rocks. Their eyes shone with bright curiosity, not fear. Alien insects buzzed past with wings like blades. Strange vines curled and uncurled as if alive. They walked for an hour before they saw the footprint. It was massive, twice the size of Jonas, deep, fresh. Whatever made it was close. Myra's voice trembled as she spoke. "Jonas, we can't outrun something that big." He knew she was right, but they had no choice. They continued forward, hoping to find a cave or some natural cover, but the forest only grew thicker. The noises became louder. The air grew hotter. Finally, they reached a small clearing with glowing plants surrounding it. Jonas felt a strange calm here, almost peaceful. But the peace broke quickly when the ground shook behind them. Jonas turned slowly. A huge creature stepped out of the trees, its fur glowing like ice crystals, its eyes burning with red light. It looked like a bear, but far bigger and more powerful. A predator built for this deadly world. Myra froze. Jonas felt his heart pounding in his throat. The beast sniffed the air, growled softly, and took a step closer. Jonas raised his hands slowly. He knew running was pointless. He knew fighting was impossible, but something strange happened. The creature stopped. It tilted its head, studying him with a curious, almost intelligent look. Jonas took a small step forward. Myra grabbed his arm, but he gently pulled away. He moved closer to the creature, fear and instinct battling inside him. But the creature did not attack. Instead, it lowered its head slightly, as if waiting. Jonas reached out a hand and touched its fur. A shock moved through his body. Not pain, connection, understanding, Myra gasped. "Jonas, what are you doing?" "I don't know," he whispered, "but I think it wants us to follow." The creature turned and looked back at them, then began walking into the forest. Jonas took a deep breath and stepped after it. Because sometimes, on the deadliest worlds, the only chance to live is to trust something that could kill you. Jonas followed the massive predator through the glowing forest, trying to keep his breathing steady. Each step the creature took made the ground vibrate, yet it moved with surprising calm. Jonas kept glancing back at Mara, who stayed close, her face pale but determined. Neither of them understood why the creature had chosen not to kill them. But now it seemed to be leading them somewhere, and the only thing scarier than following it was the idea of not following it at all. The air grew cooler as they walked deeper into the forest. Strange lights drifted between the trees, floating like tiny spirits. Jonas tried not to show how overwhelmed he felt. This world was alive in ways human science could not explain. Even the ground seemed to breathe softly under their feet. The beast glanced back at Jonas every few minutes, as if checking that he was still coming. Jonas noticed that its red eyes were not filled with rage, but something else, something like curiosity. He wondered if anyone had ever touched this creature before. Maybe no human had ever walked this world at all. Myra whispered, "Are you sure this is safe?" Jonas shook his head slightly. "No, but I think it wants something from us. If it wanted to kill us, it could have done it already." Myra nodded, though her hands tightened around her small med kit. After some time, the forest opened into a wide valley surrounded by tall cliffs. At the center of the valley was a shimmering pool, glowing blue like liquid light. The air felt calm here, almost warm. The predator walked toward the pool and sat beside it, watching Jonas expectantly. Jonas stepped closer and leaned down. The water was crystal clear, and when he touched it, he felt a soft pulse travel up his arm. It wasn't dangerous, it felt welcoming. Mara crouched beside him. Maybe this is some kind of safe area, something natural that protects life here. Jonas nodded but kept staring at the predator. It continued watching him like it understood more than he did. He wondered again what had caused it to trust him. Before he could think more, a distant noise echoed through the valley. A sharp metallic hum unnatural compared to the forest sounds. Jonas stood quickly. Mara's eyes widened. "That sounds like drones," she whispered. He listened again. She was right. The hum grew louder, sharper, faster. This was not wildlife. This was technology, and not from their crashed station. Out of the trees at the edge of the valley, small hovering machines appeared, sleek, dark, insect-like, with glowing symbols on their sides. They scanned the area with red beams. When one beam touched Jonas, it turned sharply toward him, making a high alert sound. Jonas grabbed Mara's arm and pulled her behind a rock. The predator stood up, fur rising, letting out a deep growl that shook the air. The drones surrounded the valley, scanning everything. Jonas could feel tension rising. Whoever sent these machines was not here to rescue them. One drone flew closer and projected a hologram. A figure appeared, a tall alien with cold green skin and sharp eyes. Its voice came through the hologram, distorted but understandable. "Human survivors detected. Surrender immediately." Jonas clenched his fists. This voice held no kindness. These were the ones who attacked the station, the ones who caused the destruction and forced them onto this deadly planet. Mara whispered, "Jonas, they found us so fast, they must be tracking escape pods." Jonas nodded. That made sense, and if they found them here, they would not leave until both humans were captured or dead. The hologram continued, "This world will kill you within hours. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." Jonas felt anger rising inside him, a slow, burning fire. They had attacked without warning. They had killed many. And now they wanted to finish the job. But before Jonas could react, the predator roared. A powerful, thunderous sound that cracked the hologram and shook the drones. The creature charged at them with incredible speed, smashing one drone with a single swipe. Sparks flew through the air. The remaining drones aimed at the predator, firing bright beams. Jonas did not think, he just moved. He pulled Mara deeper behind the rock. The predator leaped again, destroying another drone. But there were many more. Beams hit the creature's side. It growled in pain but kept fighting. Jonas knew they could not stay hidden. If they stayed here, the drones would kill the creature and then come for them. "Mara, we need to move now," he whispered. They ran along the side of the valley, staying low, using the glowing plants as cover. Drones shot in their direction, hitting the ground in bursts of heat. Jonas pushed Mara ahead of him, trying to keep her safe. A drone swooped down behind them. Jonas spun and threw a rock with all his strength. The rock hit the drone's sensor, making it glitch and crash into a tree. Jonas barely had time to breathe before another drone targeted him. A massive shadow appeared above him. The predator landed between Jonas and the drone, crushing the machine under its weight. Its fur glowed brighter now, as if energy flowed through it. Jonas stared at the creature. Even injured, it had protected him. He placed a hand gently on its shoulder. "Thank you." The predator let out a soft rumble, not a growl, but something almost friendly. Mara ran up beside them. "Jonas, more drones are coming. We need to escape now." The predator lowered itself slightly, as if inviting them onto its back. Jonas hesitated only a second. "Mara, I think it wants to carry us." Mara blinked. "Are you serious? Do you have a better idea?" The drones were closing in fast. Mara climbed onto the creature first, then Jonas. The predator roared once more and sprinted toward the cliffside with incredible speed. Trees blurred past them as it ran with the strength of a machine and the instincts of a hunter. The drones chased from above, firing beams that exploded around them. Jonas held tightly to the creature's fur, feeling its muscles move like coiled steel beneath him. They reached the base of the cliff. Jonas saw a narrow tunnel hidden behind vines. The predator rushed inside. The world outside filled with explosions and then silence. For the first time since the attack, Jonas felt a small piece of hope. They were not safe yet, but they were alive, and they were not alone. The tunnel was narrow at first, forcing Jonas and Mara to duck low as the predator led them deeper inside. The air was cool and damp, carrying a faint glow from tiny crystals embedded in the rock walls. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. Even the sounds of drones above faded until there was nothing but the soft scratching of the creature's claws against stone. Jonas kept one hand on the creature's fur as they moved. He could feel warmth under the icy-looking surface, a slow heartbeat that seemed steady and powerful. Mara walked close behind, her breathing fast but controlled. After everything they had just run from, the silence felt unreal. The tunnel widened as they reached a large underground chamber. Blue and green lights shimmered from crystal formations that grew like flowers from the cave floor. Water dripped from the ceiling, forming a small pool that glowed like the one in the valley. It was beautiful, peaceful, and felt strangely safe. The predator stopped at the edge of the pool and lowered itself to rest. Jonas slid off its back carefully, then helped Mara down. He looked around in awe. "This place, it doesn't feel dangerous," he said quietly. Mara nodded but kept scanning the area. "Maybe this is where the creature lives. A nest or a den. It looks protected." Jonas touched one of the glowing crystals. It felt warm, alive in a strange way. He wondered how many secrets this world held and how much of it humans had never seen. The predator watched them with calm eyes, no longer aggressive or tense. Jonas sat down near it, not too close but not far either. He felt a connection he did not understand, like the creature sensed his emotions and judged him not as prey, but as something different. Mara knelt by the creature to check its injuries. A beam from a drone had burned its side. The wound glowed faintly, like the creature's body was trying to heal itself. "It's hurt but stable," she said softly. "Jonas, I think it protected us on purpose." Jonas nodded. "I felt that too. Maybe it knows we don't belong here, but it's choosing to help us." Before Mara could reply, the ground trembled just slightly. Jonas looked up quickly. The tremor didn't feel like an explosion. It felt natural, like something big moving deep underground. Mara noticed it too. "Do you think something else lives down here?" Jonas didn't answer. He didn't want to guess wrong. The predator suddenly lifted its head and sniffed the air. Its fur stood slightly on end, not in fear, more like awareness. Jonas stood slowly, ready in case something appeared. But nothing came from the tunnel they had entered. Instead, faint clicking noises echoed from holes in the walls, tiny tunnels only small creatures could use. Dozens of glowing insects crawled out, floating gently through the chamber. Their wings shimmered like glass. Jonas froze, worried they might be dangerous. But the insects simply circled the crystals, lighting the chamber even more. Mara whispered, "This planet is deadly but also beautiful." Jonas agreed silently. Suddenly, a deep rumble shook the entire chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. The predator stood quickly, growling in warning. Jonas grabbed Mara's arm, pulling her back from the pool. A massive crack formed in the far wall. Blue light leaked through it like pressure forcing out steam. The rumble grew louder until the wall collapsed, sending rocks crashing down. Something moved behind the falling stone. Jonas felt his heartbeat quicken. Myra took a step back. From the dust and glowing light, a tall figure stepped forward. At first, Jonas thought it was another predator from the surface. But as the dust cleared, he saw a different shape. A humanoid shape. It was an alien, not like the ones in suits who attacked the station. This one looked older, ancient, with glowing patterns across its body that matched the crystals on the walls. Its eyes were bright silver, calm but powerful. It moved toward them slowly, as if it had been waiting for them. Jonas tightened his grip on a nearby rock, unsure if he should defend himself or stay still. The alien raised one hand, slowly, peacefully. The predator lowered its head but did not attack. Myra whispered, "Jonas, it's not hostile." Jonas nodded but stayed alert. The alien spoke. Its voice echoed like wind through a canyon, calm and deep. "You are not of this world." Jonas swallowed. The alien was speaking their language or something close enough to understand. "No," Jonas said carefully. "We crash-landed here. Our station was attacked." The alien tilted its head. "I know, I felt the sky burn." Myra stepped forward slightly. "Are you the one controlling the crystals? The light here, it feels alive." The alien seemed to smile, though the expression was subtle. "The world and I are one. This place breathes with me. Everything you see grows from the energy of this planet." Jonas exchanged a quick glance with Mara. This alien was not just a resident. It was connected to the entire planet in a way humans could not imagine. The alien continued, "I sensed you the moment you touched the Guardian." Jonas looked at the predator. "Guardian." The alien nodded. "This creature protects the balance of life here, yet it chose not to harm you. That is rare." Jonas felt a strange warmth. The predator didn't just tolerate him, it trusted him. The alien stepped closer. "Your species is strong, dangerous, yet you carry no fear in your heart when facing the Guardian. That is why it accepted you." Jonas hesitated. "We don't want to harm this world, we just want to survive and escape." The alien's eyes dimmed slightly. "Escape will not be easy. The invaders search for you. They want to break this world and use its energy. If they succeed, the planet will die." Jonas felt shock ripple through him. The enemy wasn't just hunting humans, they wanted the planet itself. Mara whispered, "Is that why they attacked our station, to keep anyone from warning others?" The alien nodded. "They fear your kind. Humans are unpredictable. You adapt. You endure, you survive even the deadliest worlds." Jonas thought of the drones, the destruction, the enemy hologram. If they wanted power, nothing would stop them from destroying everything. The alien lifted its hand again. A small crystal floated above its palm. "You have been chosen by the Guardian, now you must choose as well." Jonas frowned. "Choose what?" The alien's glowing eyes focused on him. "To help this world survive or to watch it fall." The chamber fell silent. The planet itself seemed to wait for his answer. Jonas did not answer at once. The chamber felt heavy, as if the world itself waited for his choice. The Guardian stood beside him, breathing slow and deep, its glowing eyes fixed on him with a strange softness. Mara stayed at his side, watching both him and the ancient alien. The silence stretched so long that Jonas felt pressure in his chest. Finally, he spoke. "I want to help, but I don't understand how. We are just two humans. We don't have weapons. We don't have a way to fight an enemy that can destroy a space station in minutes." The alien blinked slowly. "You do not need weapons. The planet itself is a weapon, and you have already bonded with one of its strongest guardians. That alone is rare, very rare." Jonas glanced at the predator. Its fur glowed softly like a living star. He felt its steady heartbeat again. Somehow, without words, the creature had chosen him. Mara stepped forward carefully. "Why would this world choose us? We didn't come here by choice. We only want to survive." The alien turned its glowing eyes to her. "Survival shapes destiny. The universe does not choose heroes from safety. It chooses them from fire." Jonas felt those words settle into him like they belonged there. But the weight of the situation still pressed hard. He took a slow breath. "Tell me what we need to do." The alien raised the floating crystal slightly. "The invaders seek the heart core. If they reach it, they will drain the planet's life energy. Everything will die, every forest, every creature, every guardian, even I will disappear." Mara looked shocked. "If the core is so important, why didn't the guardians stop the invaders already?" The alien's voice grew low. "Because the invaders do not attack the core directly. They weaken the world first. They spread machines under the surface. They infect the land, they move slowly, carefully. They fear the Guardians, but they do not fear humans yet. Jonas frowned. So they think humans are weak. Yes, the alien said, and that is why you are our chance. Jonas didn't like being underestimated, but this time it might save the planet. He stepped closer to the alien. What exactly do you want us to do? The alien pointed toward a glowing passage deeper inside the cave. You must reach the heart path. There the Guardian will help you cross into the center of the planet. But you must destroy the seed machine the invaders placed near the core. That machine spreads corruption. Once destroyed, the planet can fight back. Jonas stared at the passage. It looked narrow, unstable, glowing with shifting lights that made it appear alive. We can do that, but how far is it? Far, the alien said simply. You will face danger. You may not return, but the Guardian will guide you. The predator stepped forward, nudging Jonas gently with its huge head. Jonas placed a hand on its fur. He felt strength, warmth, trust. Myra took a deep breath. If we don't do this, we die anyway, so we might as well try. Jonas nodded. We'll help. The alien lowered the crystal into Jonas's hand. It was warm, humming with energy. This will protect you from the core's heat and guide you toward the machine. Keep it close. As Jonas held the crystal, the chamber lights pulsed once, as if the whole cavern approved of his choice. The alien stepped back, its glowing patterns dimming. Go now. The invaders send more drones. If they find the Guardian, they will destroy it. Jonas climbed onto the creature's back, helping Mara up as well. The Guardian rose slowly, powerful and ready. It looked toward the glowing passage, then sprinted into it without hesitation. The tunnel was tighter than before. Crystals grew along the walls, lighting the path in waves of blue light. Jonas ducked low to avoid sharp formations. Mara held on tightly behind him. The Guardian's movement was fast but steady, as if it knew every inch of the underground. Jonas felt heat rising as they moved deeper. The air grew heavy, thick with energy. The crystal in his hand glowed brighter the deeper they went. After some time, the tunnel widened again, opening into a long underground canyon. Rivers of glowing orange liquid flowed beside them like molten light. Heat washed over Jonas's skin, but the crystal kept it bearable. Myra looked wide-eyed. Is this lava? Jonas shook his head. Not normal lava, something else. The Guardian stopped suddenly, sniffing the air. Jonas tensed. Shapes appeared on the canyon walls, dark, metallic, crawling like insects. More invader machines, but these were different from the drones. They looked like spider-like robots with long, sharp legs that clung to the rock. Their eyes glowed green, scanning everything. One machine turned directly toward Jonas. Its scan beam hit the crystal, flashing brightly. The machine screeched, alerting the others. Jonas shouted, "Hold on!" The Guardian charged forward, running across a narrow stone bridge over the glowing river. The spider machines scuttled after them, firing small energy bolts. Sparks burst around Jonas as bolts hit the rocks. Myra ducked low. They're faster than the drones. Jonas gripped the creature's fur, but not faster than this Guardian. The predator leaped across a broken section of the bridge, landing hard on the other side. The spider machines tried to follow, but several misjudged the jump and fell into the glowing river below, melting instantly. But others kept coming. One machine jumped onto the Guardian's back. Jonas grabbed it before Myra could scream and slammed it against the rock wall. The machine cracked, then dropped off, its legs twitching before it fell into the river. Myra shouted, "Jonas, more ahead!" Several machines formed a barrier across the pathway, blocking their escape. Their glowing legs spread wide, ready to strike. Jonas felt the Guardian gather strength beneath him. Then the creature roared, a sound so massive it shook loose rocks from the ceiling, and charged directly at the machines. The first machine shattered under its weight. The others attacked with razor-sharp legs, striking the Guardian's armor-like fur, sending sparks flying. Jonas ducked as a sharp leg sliced through the air right above him. The Guardian fought wildly. The deeper the Guardian carried them into the canyon, the hotter the air became. Jonas could feel waves of heat rolling across his face, but the crystal in his hand kept the worst of it away. Myra leaned against his back, trying to stay calm as the tunnel lights shifted from blue to bright orange. The Guardian's fur glowed brighter too, as if the energy of the planet strengthened it. Jonas sensed they were close to something powerful, something ancient. The air vibrated softly, like the heartbeat of the world itself. The further they went, the more Jonas felt that vibration inside his chest. It wasn't painful, it felt like a guiding pull. Myra pointed ahead. "Look, the walls are changing." The stone walls now shimmered with golden veins moving like slow rivers. Light flowed through them in waves, pulsing gently. Jonas felt all build inside him. The planet wasn't just alive, it was awake. The Guardian slowed and sniffed the air. Jonas tightened his grip on its fur. He felt unease ripple through the creature's muscles. Something dangerous was ahead. The tunnel opened into a massive chamber so large that Jonas couldn't see the end. It glowed with swirling light, gold, blue, white, all blending together like a living storm trapped inside rock. Floating islands of stone hung in the air, turning slowly. Rivers of glowing energy flowed like water far below. At the center of the chamber stood a dark machine. It was massive, covered in black plates that pulsed with sickly green light. Thick metallic roots stretched from it into the ground like claws sinking into the planet. Jonas knew instantly this was the seed machine. It radiated corruption. Even the air around it felt wrong. Mara whispered, "Jonas, this thing is killing the entire planet." Jonas nodded, "We have to destroy it." As they approached, the ground trembled. A deep metallic roar shook the chamber. From behind the machine, a huge figure stepped into view, an armored war beast built by the invaders. It stood almost as tall as the Guardian, but shaped like a giant metallic wolf with sharp glowing lines along its body. Its eyes were bright green, burning with aggression. Mara gasped. They left a guard, a giant one. Jonas swallowed hard. This was beyond anything he had fought before. But the Guardian growled, low and powerful, stepping forward. It was ready to fight. The metallic beast crouched, preparing to strike. Sparks flew from its claws as they scraped against stone. Jonas felt the Guardian shift beneath him. "Mara," he said quietly, "we need to get off its back." "It's about to fight." Mara nodded. Jonas slid down carefully. Mara followed, though fear filled her eyes. The Guardian roared at the metallic beast, and the sound echoed through the chamber. The invader beast roared back, its voice sharp like tearing metal. Then they collided. The crash shook the entire room. Jonas felt the air burst around him as the beasts slammed into each other with incredible force. The Guardian bit into the metal plating, ripping off chunks of armor. Sparks flew everywhere. The metallic beast struck back with glowing claws, slicing across the Guardian's shoulder. The wound glowed bright blue as energy spilled out, but the Guardian didn't stop. Jonas grabbed Myra and pulled her behind a large rock. The ground shook beneath them as the beasts fought. Myra shouted over the noise, "Jonas, we still need to destroy the seed machine." He looked at the machine again. It pulsed faster now, reacting to the battle. Green lights shot up its roots, sending waves of energy across the chamber. Jonas realized something. If that thing finishes charging, it might corrupt the core completely. Mara's face tightened. "Then we have to destroy it before that." Jonas nodded. He scanned the machine for weak spots. Its outer armor looked strong, but the roots seemed important. If they damaged the roots, maybe they could stop it. They ran toward the machine, keeping low as the beasts clashed behind them. Jonas could feel the energy growing stronger the closer they got. The air crackled with heat and static. "Jonas," Mara said suddenly, "look." At the base of the machine, a panel glowed brighter than the rest. It looked like a power node. Jonas understood immediately. If we break that, it might shut down. They moved toward it, but the machine sensed them. Several smaller defense drones detached from its sides, rising like dark insects. Jonas grabbed a broken metal rod from the ground and swung at the first drone. It cracked and fell. Myra threw a stone at another drone, distracting it long enough for Jonas to smash it. But more drones kept coming. Behind them, the beasts continued their brutal fight. The Guardian slammed the metal beast against a floating island of rock, breaking it apart. The metal beast fired a beam from its mouth, hitting the Guardian in the chest. The Guardian staggered but did not fall. Jonas shouted to Myra, "I'll fight the drones, you break the node." Mara hesitated only a second, then ran toward the glowing panel. Jonas blocked the drone's path, swinging the rod with everything he had. Sparks burst around him as drones collided with the rod and fell crashing to the ground. Myra reached the node and kicked it hard. It didn't break. She kicked again, then again, pain shooting through her leg. Jonas shouted, "Use the crystal." Mara pulled the crystal from Jonas's bag. It glowed bright gold in her hands. She slammed it against the node. The chamber exploded with light. The seed machine let out a deep mechanical scream. The green lights flickered wildly. The metallic roots shook violently, pulling back from the ground as if burned. Jonas shielded his eyes. "Mara, are you okay?" She stood, breathing hard but unharmed. It worked. Behind them, the metal beast froze for a moment, its eyes dimming. The Guardian took the chance and lunged, pulling the beast to the ground. With one final roar, it crushed the enemy under its weight. The beast shattered into glowing fragments that faded away. The seed machine cracked open. Its lights died. The entire chamber grew quiet. Jonas felt the air lighten. The heat faded. The golden veins in the walls brightened, glowing with new life. The planet was healing, slowly but surely. The Guardian limped toward Jonas, tired but victorious. Jonas touched its fur gently. "You did it. You protected us and the planet." The Guardian lowered its head softly, almost like a bow. Myra smiled weakly. "Now what? We're still on a Deathworld, and the invaders are still out there." Jonas looked toward the glowing center of the chamber. A gentle wind moved through the cave, warm and comforting. "I think the planet isn't finished with us yet," he said quietly. And somewhere deep beneath them, the heart core pulsed, waiting for what came next. The vibrations in the chamber grew softer as the seed machine finally died. The glowing veins in the walls pulsed slowly, like a calm heartbeat. Jonas stood quietly beside the Guardian, feeling relief wash through him. Mara leaned against the stone, breathing deeply, her face covered with dust but smiling with real hope for the first time since the attack. The planet was healing. They could feel it in the air. But the danger was not over. Jonas looked up, sensing something watching them. Far above, the swirling lights inside the chamber shifted and came together, forming a fading silhouette of the ancient alien who had guided them. Its silver eyes glowed softly. "You have done what no one else could," the alien's voice echoed across the chamber. "The seed machine is destroyed. The invaders have lost their hold on the core." Jonas stepped forward. "Then, can the planet defend itself now?" "Yes," the alien replied. "The Guardians will awaken, the corruption will die, but you must know the invaders will not stop. They will come again, they will seek revenge." Mara's smile faded. "We can't fight an army, we can't even reach our own people." The alien's silhouette flickered. "The world owes you a debt, you saved it from death, now it will help you return home." Jonas frowned in confusion. "How?" The ground shook gently. Jonas felt the chamber rotate, not physically, but in energy. The golden veins brightened, spreading across the cavern. A swirling portal began forming above the glowing river, spinning with bright white and blue light. Mara whispered, stunned, "Is that a gateway?" The alien nodded. "The core can open a path. It will take you to where your people wait, but you must hurry. The invaders search for you even now." Jonas stepped toward the Guardian and placed a hand on its fur. "What about the Guardian? Can it come?" The Guardian looked at the portal, then at Jonas. It lowered its head softly. The alien's voice answered, "It cannot leave this world. Guardians live and die with the planet's breath, but your bond with it has strengthened the world's heart." Jonas felt a deep ache grow in his chest. "You saved us. I don't want to leave you behind." The Guardian nudged him gently, pushing its forehead against his hand. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't fear. It was saying goodbye in the only way it could. Jonas felt warmth radiate through him, a silent message. You lived. Now go live more. Mara came closer, placing a hand on Jonas's shoulder. "Jonas, we have to go." He nodded slowly, though his heart felt heavy. The Guardian stepped back, its eyes glowing softly with pride. Jonas took Mara's hand, and they moved toward the swirling gateway. The light grew brighter as they approached. Before entering, Jonas looked back one last time. The Guardian stood tall, glowing like a living star. The alien's fading figure hovered above it. "You have changed the fate of this world," the alien said, "and perhaps your own as well." Jonas whispered, "Goodbye, my friend." He and Mara stepped into the light. The world vanished in a flash of swirling energy. A moment later, they fell onto solid metal flooring. Jonas blinked rapidly as his vision adjusted. They were inside a human rescue ship. Alarms went off as soldiers scrambled toward them. Jonas heard someone shout, "We found survivors, 2 humans emerging from a spatial rupture." Mara laughed weakly, tears forming in her eyes. Humans rushed to help them, lifting them up and checking for injuries. Jonas felt hands on his shoulders, but his mind was still half on the Deathworld, still hearing the Guardian's heartbeat. A commander stepped forward. "You're lucky to be alive. We thought your station was lost. What happened out there?" Jonas exchanged a long look with Mara. What could they say? That they fought a planet-killing machine? That they were saved by a giant glowing predator? That the world itself opened a portal to rescue them? Mara finally answered, "It's a long story and no one will believe it." The commander frowned but nodded. "Get them medical care, they've been through hell." As they were escorted down the hallway, Jonas looked out the ship's window. Stars filled the darkness. Peaceful, silent. But he knew somewhere far below, deep in space, a Class-9 Deathworld was healing. Its guardians were waking. Its heart was beating strong again. And one guardian, a giant, crystal-furred predator, was watching the skies, knowing its human friend had survived. Later, as Jonas and Mara rested, she turned to him. "Jonas, do you think we'll ever go back there?" He smiled weakly.